A very good morning, class. Welcome back to another session of your science class. This is your science teacher Nazish, and today I am going to begin with a very new, very fresh chapter from your book, chapter number 12, Reproduction in Plants. I would like to start with a small question. Imagine what would happen if living organisms do not reproduce. Think. If living organisms do not reproduce, there would be no more living organisms left to inhabit the world after the present generation. All the species would extinct from the earth. So, the main significance of reproduction is to maintain the continuity of species on the earth, to maintain the continuity of life on the earth. It helps to maintain the number of species on the earth. So, reproduction can be defined as the process by which an organism produces young ones of their own kind. In this chapter, we will discuss about reproduction in plants. In plants, there are two modes of reproduction: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is the mode of reproduction in which single parent is involved. In this mode of reproduction, new plants are obtained from a single parent. No gamete formation takes place in asexual reproduction. Now you may be wondering what are gametes, right? Gametes are an organism's reproductive cells. They are also defined as sex cells. On the other hand, in case of sexual reproduction, two parents are involved. In this mode of reproduction, two parents, one male and one female, are involved. There is a fusion of male and female gametes. Again, there is a fusion of male and female gametes in case of sexual reproduction. In today's video, we will discuss about different types of asexual reproduction, such as binary fission, budding, spore formation, fragmentation, vegetative reproduction, and regeneration. So let's begin with binary fission. This mode of asexual reproduction is common among unicellular plants like amoeba and bacteria, and some unicellular animals like paramecium. In this mode of reproduction, a single parent cell divides itself into two daughter cells. In this type, an individual splits into two daughter cells. Next, budding. This kind of reproduction is seen in microorganisms such as yeast and hydra. In this case, a small bud forms on the surface of parent organism. The bud becomes larger and breaks off from the parent to form a new organism, to form a new individual. Next, spore formation. Some non-flowering plants such as ferns and mosses as well as fungi, they produces small and round bodies called spores, spores, spores. In this way, or in this type of asexual reproduction, a new individual germinates from the spores. Under favorable conditions, spores develop into new individual. Next, fragmentation. In this type of asexual reproduction, an organism with filamentous body breaks into two or more fragments. It may break due to water currents or some other reasons. Then each fragment grows into a new individual. This kind of reproduction occurs in a freshwater algae called the Spirogyra. Each fragment behaves as an individual organism. This helps it to multiply very fast. Next, regeneration. Regeneration is a type of asexual reproduction in which organisms have the capacity to regain its lost body parts. Regeneration may be a type of asexual reproduction in some plants and animals like Planaria and Hydra. If cut into few pieces, each part of these animals develops the lost body part. Each piece is capable of growing into a new individual. And the last type of asexual reproduction is vegetative reproduction. It is a type of asexual reproduction in which new plants are grown by using their vegetative parts such as roots, leaves, or stems. Vegetative propagation can occur naturally, or humans may also carry it out artificially. Next, vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction. It occurs naturally in some plants, or it may also be carried out artificially by humans in some cases. In nature, some plants do not reproduce through flowers and seeds, so we use their vegetative parts such as stem, root, or leaves to grow new plant. The natural methods of vegetative reproduction are by stem, by root, or by leaves. By stem, in some plants such as potato, rose, or ginger, garlic, etc., they have adventitious buds on their nodes. When the nodes come in contact with damp soil or water, they produce roots and new plant. Next, vegetative propagation by root. Some plants such as sweet potato, dahlia, carrot, turnip, beetroot, etc. reproduce through their roots. These plants store food in the roots. When these roots are planted, new plant grows from them. And the last one, vegetative reproduction through leaves. In case of some plants such as Bryophyllum, small platelets grow along the margin of the leaves. These platelets fall to the ground and give rise to the new plants. Next, artificial methods of vegetative propagation. Plants can also reproduce by artificial methods such as cutting, grafting, or layering. The three methods, cutting, grafting, and layering, are explained as follows.
Layering. In this method, a lower branch of a plant is bent down close to the ground and covered with moist earth in such a way that its growing tip remains above the soil surface. After a few days, the covered portion of the stem usually produces adventitious roots. The rooted branch is then cut and grown as an independent plant. This method is used to propagate plants such as jasmine, and it occurs naturally in black raspberries. Cutting. For cutting, we have to select a healthy young branch with a few nodes and internodes. Then cut off the branch and remove most of its leaves. Now the cut end is stuck into some good moist soil. Look at the cutting after some days. We can see that it develops roots and grows into a new plant. This method is used to propagate plants like rose, sugarcane, and pineapple. Grafting. The art of joining parts of two plants in such a way that they grow as one plant is called grafting. For doing grafting, select a plant and then detach a twig or bud from it. This twig is called scion. The scion is then kept over the cut stem of another plant. This is called stalk, and it has an extensive root system under the soil. The two cut surfaces are bound together and the joint is covered with wax to prevent evaporation and also to stop infection. The tissues of the stalk and scion join together to form one plant, with the stalk supplying all the essential nutrients to the scion. This method helps to combine desirable features of two plants. For example, a high-yielding variety of a fruit is grafted to another of the same species known for its toughness. Then we get a tough, high-yielding variety. Mango, rubber, apple, pear, citrus and guava are propagated through this method.